Hello, we're going to look at solving linear equations today. So just a couple brief definitions. These should be reminders, but an equation in math has an equal sign. We have two parts that are equal, and an expression does not have an equal sign. So it's just something that you can simplify, not actually solve. Okay, a solution to an equation is when you actually solve for a variable and you get an answer. Okay. And remember, when you go to solve, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if I add 5 to the left, I have to add 5 to the right. Or if I divide by 2 on the right, I have to divide by 2 on the left. So make sure you do the same things to both sides of the equation. Here's an example, 19x plus 3 equals 22. I follow order of operations backwards. So SAD/MEP, so addition and subtraction first, and then multiplication and division. So subtract 3 gives us 19x equals 19. Now I need to undo this 19 times x by dividing by 19, so I get x equals 1. And we always need to plug that solution back into our original equation to make sure it actually satisfies the equation. So when I plug when I plug 1 back in here, I get 19 times 1 plus 3, which is 19 plus 3, which is 22. Here's another one, negative 5x plus 12 equals negative 23, very similar. Order of operations backwards, we subtract 12, then divide by negative 5 to get x equals positive 7. If you plug it back in, it works. Okay, this one has a few more steps. We have 12 parentheses r plus 3 equals 2 parentheses r plus 5, and then we have a minus 3r on the end. We have to distribute on both sides, so I go ahead and do that in this step. And now on the right side, we have like terms, so we can combine those. 2r minus 3r is where I get a negative 1r. And now I need to combine my variables. So I always move the smaller variable to the other side. So I would add 1r. 12r plus 1r gives me 13r. And now I need to combine my constants. Remember, we always need our variable on one side, our constant on the other. So I'm going to move this 36 to the right side by subtracting. And now I have 13r equals negative 26. And I complete solving this by dividing by 13. And it gives me negative 2. Go ahead, plug that in on your own, and make sure that it works. I would like you guys to solve this equation. Okay, here is one, variables on both sides, but this time it has fractions. So ideally we don't want to deal with fractions. It's a lot easier to work with integers. So we're going to get rid of these fractions by multiplying by the least common denominator. So we have denominators of 2 and 3, and the least common multiple of 2 and 3 would be 6. So we're going to multiply every single term by 6. When I do that, I distribute. So 6 times 1/2, or half of 6 is 3. I still have that x. Distribute it to the 4. 6 times 4 is where I get 24. Distribute it over here to the right side. If you multiply straight across, remember this is technically 6 over 1. So I'd have 6 times negative 2, which is negative 12. And negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Still have an x. And then 6 times 1/2, or half of 6, is 3. Now this is an equation we feel more comfortable solving. So again, I'm going to take my smaller variable and move that first. So negative 4x is going to be moved to the left side by adding. And I also went ahead and moved my constant to the right side. Since I moved my variables to the left, constants have to go to the right. So I subtract 24 on both sides. The left side simplifies to 7x, and the right side is negative 21, and we divide by 7 to get x equals negative 3.